And of course he decides that he's going to defeat Uzaru, who of course has never once appeared at all, so why are we caring? And then he's going to defeat Piccolo. And Piccolo then reveals he is Uzaru, that he was sent here on Earth by Meteor, where he would be kept until his 18th birthday, when all these things would be revealed to him and he would be ready to take his true form again, blah blah blah, yada yada, so on and so forth. Basically, for some reason that cannot fully be comprehended, this kid is actually a 2,000-year-old demon in human form. Yay. And of course the eclipse happens, which somehow magically forces him to take on his quote-unquote true form. And he goes around attacking the people that he cared about because he serves Piccolo in this form automatically. And of course Roshi takes the time to say, "I knew it, I told you so," tells them to run with the Dragon Ball that they have, and he sets down the jar, launches the Mafuba, which again, reminding you folks, took 7 people to make work last time, catches Piccolo up in the little whirlwind, getting him a little dizzy, possibly motion sick. Meanwhile, Uzaru chasing through the caves, sends Yamcha flying, Bulma running, Bulma runs into Mai, they start having a gunfight. And Piccolo, deciding, okay, I need to stop this before I hurl, shoots the jar, ends the Mafuba, Roshi collapses, and then Giko there springs out, busts through the wall, grabs him by the throat, and starts choking him. And of course Roshi says, that you need to remember who you are, blah blah blah. He remembers his grandpa's, advice, so on and so forth. It flashes to inside his mind, the human in him is crying now. The first time you ever see Chatwin cry in the whole movie. And it's a clearly fake tear, too. Anyways. And then, of course, he just somehow overpowers this demon in a quite literal footage reversal transformation sequence. Frame for frame. He changes back into a human with completely unwrapped, fully tied clothing. I mean, this isn't even the case of the Hulk. He's back to normal, but his clothes are still ripped thing. No, they're fully repaired and everything. Yeah. And of course, he and Piccolo get into a slap fight, and I call it a slap fight because I believe they hit each other together a total of 13 times in the entire fight. Bulma's in trouble, runs out of bullets, decides to try to pull a dirty trick and whip out her capsule bike thingy, which has 2 blades attached to the front of it, throws it at her, almost gets the bondage chick in the throat. And now she's completely at her mercy, and who should show up but Yamcha with a gun while he shoots the woman in the back. Our hero. Meanwhile, Goku and Piccolo, slamming into each other, flying backwards. Piccolo decides he's going to end it once and for all, holds up into the air, creates a giant ball. Giko begins remembering everything, to be one with myself I must become two, blah blah blah, yada yada. With great power comes great responsibility, all that good stuff. Charges up a Kamehameha wave. It's like, oh yay, fire air versus red fire air apparently. Fires it, and here's the deal. Even when every other time they used it in the movie, it clearly had some sort of pushback to it, There was resistance. It's physics. This time when he uses it, it floats him up into the air toward his target. Floats him up into the air toward his target. Wherein he is carried and carried and carried until he slams right into him. There's a big poof of smoke that just whiffs around all the rocks. He lands, Piccolo lands in a heap, smoldering, and all of a sudden everything, the flying airship, the minion, all of it, just disappear. Like it was never there. Roshi's dead though, so of course they have to summon the dragon, and it's a tiny, funky looking little dragon. Glowing gold. Well, comparatively tiny little dragon, glowing gold, who they ask who, and it's this weird chant, the test of 7 has been fulfilled, or whatever the heck, to summon the thing. And, okay, fine, whatever. And of course the stereotypical, I was happy there, why'd you bring me back? Blah, blah, blah. And of course Chatwin with his amazing acting. You're right, Master Roshi. I guess we just weren't ready to lose you yet. It's like, wow. Oscar-winning performance there. Anyway. Not that Mr. Fats was any less over the top. Whatever Chatwin made up for in lack of emotion, Chow Yun-Fat worked overtime to cover for him with his acting. Anyways. So, yeah, it turned into a rightful mess of things, okay, well, I guess that means that everything's okay. Dragon Ball Scatter. No, not quite everything. He has to go meet up with the whore again, make out with her, and decide, okay, seeing as I clearly clocked you, cleaned your clock with one punch, and just wiped out an evil alien warlord, I'm going to take you on in a tournament because I think that I, need to slap a woman around again because I enjoy it. Or whatever logic. And of course they freeze in midair and there's your movie, except, no it's not, because doing something that no movie has ever done before, there's more! If you wait for a little bit in the credits, and you find out, Piccolo's not dead, he's being nursed by some human chick who apparently does not know what the heck she's doing. And then it's done. Now, I've just basically gone through the whole film. Now let me point out some of the plot holes, in case I didn't already. First and foremost is the beginning. Piccolo shows up with this mighty armada from space trying to wipe out all of humankind. These mystics create this attack to seal him up, yada yada. But they also created the Dragon Balls to combat him. And yet, having created the Dragon Balls for the express purpose of defeating Piccolo, Piccolo knows what they are, knows what he has to do to use them. In fact, that anybody knows, even though all these guys are dead now, is astonishing. When he's unleashed, Piccolo knows where all these Dragon Balls are supposed to be, even though they would have been hidden after he was sealed away. Yet he knows where they're all supposed to be, except the one when it's not where it's supposed to be. He can tell it's not where it's supposed to be, but then can't tell where it is. However, he then also knows all about Goku and his past, despite the fact that all these events occurred again while he was still sealed. So how would he know this? I mean, seriously, a ton of the plot holes here are revolving around Piccolo. You got the fact that Giko there could not even channel the most basic amount of energy for a simple attack. Then all of a sudden, every time he sees this girl, it's boom, overpower. It's ridiculous. This girl that he only sees like 4 times throughout the entire film. Is just over the top, seriously. The fact that, again, Master Roshi is the man who supposedly trained his very, very old, decrepit grandfather. And yet, he's younger than him, clearly. In fact, Roshi's master looks about as old as Gohan. There's the fact that, this kid's somehow got all this special power that he just instantly learns how to use when he needs it. I mean, he can barely master the Kamehameha, but, something as great as a complete internal battle of will against a 2,000-year-old demon who is subservient to a very strong-willed dictator, supposedly. There you go. Now, touching back on the series a little bit, this is some stuff that people may not have noticed that'll tick you off a little extra. And I'm doing this because I already showed you some places where there are some, frankly, very big holes within that movie. First and foremost, when you look at the form and how they were designed, I've seen action figures for them. And frankly, the way their arms are, they have segments on their arms, their forearms, and their biceps. Right here and right here. That are separated segment and frankly look like they have striped sinew across them. Couple this with the fact that when he slices them, they regenerate. Those are your Namek warriors. Methinks they just changed the name to avoid having people ticked off. Second of all, what you can't actually see in the movie, but you can see in production photos, is that gay little motorized 10-speed he's riding. There's a plate on the back of it. It says Nimbus. There's your Nimbus cloud, guys. The fact that he looks directly at the full moon at Chi-Chi's party. Music changes. You think, oh my gosh, this could be it. He's going to go Uzaru. Nope. They did it on purpose. And yet he looks away from it. Nothing happens. Nothing wrong. Whatsoever. It was an intentional slap in the face. In fact, if anything, they're actually showing the moon specifically going to the opposite, a new moon, before it'll even affect him. Okay, there's some frankly over-the-top stuff in there, and the fact is, you know, that was downright insulting. But anyways, the point is, yes, even as a movie, this thing fails horribly. The plot is so shattered and broken. The fact that all the reviews that covered the movie said that maybe fans will be able to make more sense of it than we could proves that it made no sense, and that they think maybe they're requiring you have pre-knowledge. The problem is, even with pre-knowledge, you don't get what's going on because it's just stupid and doesn't make sense. It's just a downright bad movie. And yeah, that's frankly something that I really don't think opinion can really trump. I'm sorry. Anyways, there you have it. See ya.